to start installing the Anet case here, this custom case. So I got two MOSFETs, one's right here, and then, you know, I already have one mounted in here, and then, you know, my motherboard right there. I'm going to zoom out here so you guys can see all that. I'm making all these videos for you guys. Hope you're appreciating it. I don't want you guys to hate my videos, so I'm trying my best here. So what you're going to need is obviously a Phillips screwdriver. I have two different ones, and I'm using a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and get my power wires out of here first. I already took the motherboard off its mount, off of this plastic, or acrylic. So all I gotta do is just take out my power connections. There goes one, and there goes two. Okay, so power wires are out, as you can see. Just gonna set those right here, if I can, or just lay them flat over here is fine. And then we're gonna get my heat bed wires off of here. Get all those off. Pretty much know this board like the back of my hand now. Okay, heat bed wires are out, and you can pull the extruder wire straight out of there. It's an actual plug, so you don't have to keep unscrewing stuff. And then, let's see, power for the heat bed, just unscrewing this. And I pulled all that out, all these electronic components. And then this is the other part of the heat bed. This is going straight to the heat bed, so I'm going to let those out too. There we go. That's one MOSFET out. And heat bed power wires. And then the heat bed itself. So, a little thick. Pretty good. Alright, so now that we got that out of there, we're going to pull out all these pins here. Make sure you leave your labels on here so you know which motor goes to what. I wouldn't recommend breaking those. So extruder motor is the one on top. Then we have Z motor. There you go. Another Z motor right here. And then your Y-axis motor is on this port. There we go. And then your X-axis is on the last bottom port. And then we have fan 1, fan 2. Oh, actually that was fan 2. Fan 2 is the one that goes onto your extruder. And the first fan is the one that blows air right by the tip. And then we have end stop for the X, and then our Y stop, and then our Z stop. X, Y, Z, those stops are actually just these buttons. They just click. Once it gets to the end of to the end of the bed, so that way it won't keep running the motor and smash into the walls. And then we have our bed thermistor. Thermistor is basically just a sensor that tells you how hot the bed is. It gives off the measurement of temperature, basically. It's like a thermometer. Okay, so that's the bed one, and then we have one for our extruder. So the last wire we have is for the LCD controller, top one right here, and that is all of them. And there goes your board. That looks really good. This one's a little crooked. I don't really like how that's set up, but can't really do nothing about that. That's my board. That's the brand new one, the one that actually works. Set that down. I'm gonna set it face up so I don't hit any of the pins. Granted, it is just a wooden table, it shouldn't even matter, but I'm very cautious when it comes to electronic components. And I'm not about to spend another like 36 to 40 bucks on another motherboard. Alright, so now that we have everything moved out of the way, we can just go ahead and start setting up our box here. Now you wanna, the box already has all the mounting holes if you print it out right. So what we're gonna do is mount the, we're gonna basically just match up the holes. So trying to make sure that I'm matching everything up correctly. It's one of those tedious things. Let's see. So you see two mounting holes right there, and then I think this case is supposed to go all the way down to the bottom of this. That would make, I mean, it kind of would make sense. Yeah. That means I'm going to have to run my wires back out of here. I'm going to have to clip this. I have a zip tie right here. I'm going to have to clip that off. So I lied, you need more than just a screwdriver. If you have zip ties, you have to have a way to actually clip them off. This is my power switch from my power supply over here, so that way when it's plugged in it doesn't have to actually be on. I can flip the switch to turn it back on. So I know these wires are looking ridiculous right now. Please bear with me. I got some heat, not heat, but I have some wire sheathing, and I'm going to add some of that. It's old wire sheathing, so you have to bear with me on that too, but it will definitely make this look a whole lot better. I'm going to take these off, if I can. It's a pain in the ass. There we go. 1, 2. It doesn't matter which way they go, they just make these two connect to make one closed circuit. Trying to drop my board and everything. Alright, pull all that out of there. I don't know why this is in here. Let me take that out. I don't know what happened to the other one. I guess it fell. Alright. Yeah, it's down there. It fell somewhere. Okay. Yeah, it fell. It's right here. Put that right there. have to get this out of here. So that's just great. Gotta love how you gotta redo everything. But that's the price you pay to make it look nice, right? To make everything look neat, professional. You gotta put the time in. And I know I've been putting a lot of time into this stuff. I'm talking about as soon as I get off of work and come straight home, I'm on either developing some new 3D design or like working on another part or trying to add another part. There's just so many parts to this thing, and it's like possibilities are endless, so that's one of the reasons why I do it. But that given, possibilities are endless, so there's a lot to go on here. I'm just going to take all this off. Put that over there. Don't need that right now, and I'm not going to use this either. Alright. Build processes. Could be a pain in the butt. Alright. So you see this hole right here, down in the corner? This is going to go through here, just like that. And there's a hole down here too. It's right in the center. It's for this little gap right here that lets all these wires come through. So these wires will be going through there as well. And then I'm not sure about the Z-stop. I'm guessing I could just fit it through one of these holes, which isn't a big deal. Nobody's even going to notice something like that. I guess that's why they have those holes there. They've probably already been doing stuff like that. Anyway, you want to fit all your motor wires through here. And your stops, like this Z-stop right here, or Y-stop, my bad. Y-stop. Alright. Looking like a mess. There you go. Alright, doesn't look too bad. Now what I could do is add have it come off of here a little bit, kind of match up nicer. Like right here. That seems like a really nice spot to have it at. I don't know if my alright everyone, right now the camera had just cut out, but you know, I had to let the camera battery charge up and I had to format the SD card, save all the video already had taken. But I wanted to let you know what I already have been doing. So I went ahead and added the 2 screws left for the second MOSFET right here. So I have both MOSFETs in. I used the, if you bought the Anet A8, the board came with these spacers. They're white spacers. You get 4 of them, 4 for each corner of the motherboard. You only need to use 3 for this case because the case has only 3 holes, and the holes are really like close. So I'm gonna try to get a little closer here. You can kind of see there's one right here, and then there's one right there, and then one over here. You probably can't see those 2. They're right here on the edge. There's only 3. There's nothing else for you to mount this to, unless you felt like drilling another hole through your acrylic and then, you know, adding the last bolt. But you're only using 3, and you shouldn't even really have to worry about it. It shouldn't even have to go anywhere. I don't think it will go anywhere. For now, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the Anet motherboard. So I'm going to zoom out here. Just wanted to show you guys that. Anyway, don't mind the background mess. I've been cleaning up and trying to get everything set up here for today. But yeah, the board's going to be mounted with 4 bolts It already has, it was already offset from the initial bottom of this case. It has like basically its own spacers, and I'm gonna get 4 screws here. Try to get screws that are sharp tipped that make their own threading, you know, so that way you don't have to worry about trying to drill in too hard and cracking any of the any of the plastic. This is ABS plastic. That's what I've pretty much been printing with since the beginning of everything. I don't have any PLA whatsoever, and I know people will probably be like, oh, well, you should get PLA, blah blah blah. I understand that PLA is good and it's environmentally friendly, and I'm all about saving the environment, but I know it's not as sturdy as ABS, and I want my stuff to be able to withhold a lot of force and pressure. Like, I already dropped this case once and it didn't break or anything. So yeah, a little piece over here chipped off, like not chipped, but like, you know, this little frame part right here snapped, and all I had to do is just glue it back together. You won't even notice it unless I said something. Alright, and when you're screwing this in, hold the bottom right here, you know, get a little force that you don't have to worry about, because there's no, you know, it's not all 4 cornered down, it's just those 3 bolts, so you just want to make sure that you're giving it its support that it needs. Alright, that's in. I get the other one here. I already have all 4 of my little screws here ready for this. I was so ready for this. Alright. Okay. Screwing that in, trying to make sure you guys could see all of that. Alright. I should start doing like live streaming to YouTube unless you guys watch this stuff. I just never got into it yet. I'm going to have to do some research. You guys let me know how that stuff goes. I do have plenty of cameras. I don't know what kind of camera you could use for live streaming, but I have a Canon T5i for 1080p with actual plug up to the wall outlet, so I don't have to worry about batteries. And right now what I'm recording off of is a Lumix G7 from Panasonic, and it's at 4K. So I would love to do streaming with 4K if I can. I just don't know how to set all that up. I'll have to do some research on that first. So as I really like my Lumix, I just got it. It's a freaking great camera. Okay. That's in. That's in. Just slightly tighten each one. Make sure everything's in place. And there you have it. It's looking good. And they said for you to move your stop right here, when you get like a certain frame brace and all that, but I see mine right here and it's not even affecting anything, so I actually have that set up in a nice spot. Alright, now we're going to pull this stuff out of the way here, because I have my wiring over here that needs to be pulled out. Okay, so I'm probably going to go ahead and start sheathing all this. That's what I'm saying about this. I feel like it just would go through one of these holes here, like behind the frame and all that. Oh, and while I was while the camera was down, I went ahead while I was waiting for all the images to go over to my computer, all the video file. I went ahead and used this grease right here to lube up my shafts and railings. It's synthetic grease. It's super lube synthetic grease with silicone PTFE multi-purpose lubricant. I use this on a few other projects. This stuff works great. So I shouldn't have any rough running rotors or anything like that. Everything should be nice, smooth, and fluent, I hope. So Anyway, back to this. Let me go ahead and move this down, and I'm just gonna have it come out through one of these little holes right here. And which one is this? This is the Z end stop. So I'm just gonna have it come out as close as I can to the Z end stop. Sorry if my head's in the way. I'm just trying to see while I'm doing all this. I'm not sure if it'll go through this hole or not. I'm a little worried now. Will it go through any of these? Hold on, let me just double check on another one. Yeah, it will. It just has to go in sideways. Okay. Almost got it. I'm sorry, guys. Stupid thing's a pain. Just to get through the hole. I'm not about to unmount the whole frame just to get this one wire through all this. That would be dumb. Alright, you're gonna get out. There we go. Got it. Now just pull on through. Just be careful, you don't want to crack your stuff. Okay. Now that I kind of have it a little out, I'm going to use my pliers here. I'll go back in. And just pull it on through. And you guys be like, wow, that's dangerous. You know, because you're using metal against all these electrical components. Well, I'm not touching any of those, and all this stuff is plugged up, so I'm pretty safe here. Without forcing it in. I'm not forcing it, it's just being a pain in the butt trying to get it through this hole. It's trying to go on this side. There it goes. Got it, finally. What a butt. Alright. So this will go right here. If I could bend it and shove it on in there. Good. See that right there? Finally. Zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. Right over here in this corner, I finally got this stupid wire to go through. Alright. Now, on to the next stuff. Zoom out. So, and that's what we're going to do with all this stuff is I'm going to get some of this sheathing here and see what I got to work with. Because this is all off of an old power supply I had. And I was like, well, I should keep this and use it as sheathing wire for my Anet. So that's what I did. Let's see a bit more. Yeah, a lot of different sheathings here, and I have heat shrink tubing too, so it'll still look really nice. You know, I know this end looks a little ridiculous, like a nest going on here, but once I clip this back and, you know, clean it up, it'll look really nice. So I'll go ahead and start sheathing some of this stuff. I'm not going to sheathe the whole entire thing like underneath. I'm just going to do the areas that you can see up front. So, yeah, let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm trying to find the ones that will most likely be good for this like small area. Because I want to use my larger pieces for like the Z-stop and my Z axis and you know, all the longer wires. think this one is the winner. I'm going to use this one right here. So how I do that, I'm going to have to cut this part off right here. The clippers that came with my Anet just to cut this stuff off of here. I'm going to go as close as I can to this piece of piece of shrink wrap. And there you go. Cut it off, bring it up, bring it out. You see, it's just like one of those snake finger traps. Sorry, I dropped it. It's just like a finger trap. You just push it in and it gets fatter. So, but if you pull on it, it gets smaller and tighter. Alright, that is going through there. Trying to make sure I get all these, whether or not, there you go. Okay. Now what we're going to do is go through the back here. I'm going to cut this piece off. It's kind of bothering me. Make it all level. I love these little things. I'm going to have to get me some more. Some more of them. Alright. Slide this one in. That's the only bad thing about that. I'm not gonna take off the these connectors. I know some people would. I'm not going to, because I don't want to mess with my connectors. I already had enough trouble just making sure my printer worked, and I do not want to repeat anything like that ever again. I mean, I waited forever just to get this printer to get on. Definitely ain't going to be messing with the connections like that. It's going to be a pain in the butt trying to get all this stuff in. This is just one wire. Okay, almost got it. Once I get this one, I'm going to cut the video out, get the rest of these done. I'm going to show you how to hook it back up, and then put the case on there, let you see how it looks. And that's how you do it. Just, you got to be patient. This stuff does take a while, especially when you're using reusable parts. But see, it comes all the way out, no problem. Pull that closer. And there you have it.